Today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some proactive steps to prepare your business for online course success. This is for those of you who are thinking about adding an online course to your offerings in the future. It's also for those of you who maybe have an online course already. We're going to talk about some of the foundational steps today, and you might have some aha moments and realize, okay, I didn't actually do that. Okay, if I do that now, how is that going to impact my next launch? Okay, because we should always be looking at how we can improve. Really, it's for those of you who have the goal of launching an online course for your community at some point in the future. And perhaps, up to now, you've been teaching in studios. Okay, lots of you teach in studios. Maybe you've set up your own classes. Maybe you found a space and you've set up your own classes, or maybe you've been teaching on Zoom. If you're teaching in those ways, like you're seeing it and experiencing it firsthand, the limitations that has, when you only teach in a studio, or when you only teach in person, or you only teach drop-in classes. And it could be that, you're hosting retreats as well. I used to host retreats when I was teaching yoga, and it's a great revenue booster. It's also an incredible way to really connect with your students, but it also has its limitations, right? You're limited to the number of spaces that you can hold in a retreat. And when you only focus on these offerings, you limit yourself in terms of the potential for revenue growth in your business and, your capacity, essentially. Many of these offerings require you, right? They require you to trade your time for money. If you're teaching in a studio, what are you doing? You're showing up for the hour and you're getting paid for that hour. And if you're running a retreat, it requires you to be there. You're being paid by the people who are coming on the retreat for that period of time, and it requires you to be there. And these are great things. Like, as I said, we want to be able to have ways to connect with our students in person, and many of you might want to travel. You might have that as a goal for you, and to travel and host retreats in beautiful places. That's how I, came to Bali so many times. I was hosting retreats here. But if your goal is to to have more freedom, flexibility, to have revenue streams that are more sustainable, okay, and more predictable, then, looking at creating an online course, maybe even having, an online membership that complements your course. But these online offerings, which are, another kind of stream of income in your business, another vertical in your business or business model that you can put in place so that your income isn't just reliant on studio classes, okay, or whatever, you're focusing on at the moment. To a certain degree, if you just focus on those things, there can also be a risk there, right? We saw that a few years ago, didn't we, when all the studios closed their doors, retreats being cancelled. I had to cancel all of my retreats in 2020. I think I had 8. Yeah, I had 8 retreats planned that year. I had to cancel them all. Many teachers, struggle to move beyond the safety of the studio classes that they have, in their schedule. They struggle into tapping into their true purpose, really, and what they're meant to be putting out there. And I know that all of you have more inside you than a drop-in class or just teaching in studios. Like, I know that you have something that's truly transformational that you can create that goes beyond the drop-in class or a one-off experience with your students. And maybe you've been considering an online course, but you're not moving forward with it because you're thinking, I don't have enough skills and knowledge. Like, I'm not expert enough to teach in an online course or to create an online course. Who am I to think I can go and do something like that? You have enough, right? You are enough. You have the knowledge, you have the skills to create an online course. Like, what you've experienced in your life and what you've learned, what you've been taught is enough to package up into an online course and to help others. Yeah, likely, and tell me if this is you, likely you've been through your own journey of transformation. You've been through something in your life and yoga has helped you to overcome whatever challenge you were facing. You know, most of the teachers that come into the Profitable Yoga Teacher program, that scenario applies. You know, they've been through something in their life. Yoga and other modalities has helped them to transform their life, and they're really passionate about it because it's been a lived experience, like they've been through it personally. They can talk about it and share about it from the heart. And, you know, there's so much value in that. And even, you know, I see this all the time, but the same teachers will then say to me, but I don't know enough. You know, I need to know more. I haven't got enough knowledge, or who am I to do that? So you only need to be a few steps ahead of your students, you know, to be able to teach them what you know. You know, likely they are where you once were, and you can help them and give them the steps that they need to get to where you are now, you know, to move through that. So this is actually enough. And, you know, it's a great starting point. Like, as you develop an online course, you actually learn so much more. You know, so all those things that you think you don't know, like just going through the process of putting an online course together on this specific topic, you will learn the things that you think that you don't know. Like, you'll go through it and you will learn so much more, and you'll be able to apply those new things that you're learning, you know, to be able to share that within your with your students inside your course. You know, you don't need to be scared that you don't know enough to be a course creator. Like, this is your chance to really support your students in a deeper way and to challenge yourself. It's a great opportunity to actually challenge yourself. Like, if we want new things in our life, you know, if we want new things, we have to challenge ourselves. Like, no one said that this was easy. You know, if we want more for ourselves, if we want more income, if we want more freedom, if we want to create more impact through our business, it's going to require a lot more of ourselves. You know, it doesn't get handed to us on a plate. This is a journey of growth. The rewards are worth it. That journey, of course, it has ups and downs that come with it, but it is a journey of growth as a business owner. So what can you do now then? What can you do now to prepare yourself and your business for your future online course? Well, there's 2 steps, intentional steps, that you need to focus on that's going to set you up for success when you actually come to launch your online course in the future. It's also just going to set your business up for success. You know, if you do these 2 things, you need to be doing these 2 things. You know, what I'm sharing with you today, you should be doing anyway. You know, if you want to grow your community online, if you want to make sales, you should be doing these 2 things. So this is a reminder for everyone, actually. But if you really like dial in on it and focus on these 2 steps, with having, you know, the goal to create and launch an online course in the future, and that future could be pretty soon. You know, it doesn't have to be like next year. You know, if you really focus on this, you can get this done. The key thing for you as a business owner is to always have the mindset of experimenting. You know, I'm experimenting, I'm putting things out there, I'm testing, I'm just taking action. And it might be messy, and that's okay, because I'm going to learn so much from this experience and going through the process, right? So quite often we think we have to wait until we've got this huge community before we actually go out there and launch an online course, and it's not true. Actually, you can launch to a small but engaged community. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how you make sure that your community is engaged. It's in step 2, okay? So first things first, the foundation of, you know, marketing essentially is in who you're attracting, right? Your online course and anything that you put out there into the world, it needs to be created for a specific person in mind, okay? And we call this person our ideal student, okay? So when we define who this person is, we actually start to get really specific with our message. And what it does is it moves you away from sharing this very kind of general, wishy-washy message. You know, my offerings are for everyone, to no, my offerings are for women in their mid 40s, 50s and 60s who are navigating menopause and their kids leaving home, the empty nesters, and they're navigating this new chapter of their life, you know, and the changes in hormones and their body and weight and all of the things that they might be going through. Like, these women need support, and they'll want to be supported from someone who's been there, right? Someone who has experience of navigating these challenges with more ease. Okay, so that's just an example of a niche. Shout out to our student, Joanne. Okay, she's a graduate of the Profitable Yoga Teacher Program, and she's currently a student inside the Visionary Mastermind. That's her niche that I've just described there. Okay, she has a successful membership, she has an online course, her content and her messaging speaks to these women, okay, the women I just spoke about. This niche, your niche, is not yin yoga, right? It's not a modality. A modality isn't a niche. What is the problem that you solve? That's your niche, right? So you might teach yin yoga as a modality, but you don't just have to teach yin yoga. I see this all the time, okay? I hear this all the time. You know, when we talk about, especially in the Facebook group, when there's conversations about niching, or we share something about niching, and I'll read a comment that says something like, I don't want to pigeonhole myself. You know, I don't want to just teach that one thing. And that's not actually what it's about. You know, you can teach yin yoga, you can teach whatever you want to teach, but actually it's about who you're teaching. Who are the people that you're teaching? Like, what is it about them? What challenges are they facing? What problems are they facing in their day-to-day life? You know, what do they want for themselves? What's their desires? Where do they want to be? Yeah. And when you do this, when you understand this, when you go through a process to understand this, and you define who it is that you want to serve, your messaging becomes clearer. You know, your marketing starts to work, you know, because you've niched down. And in the online space that we're operating in, you know, this is essential. It's essential that you do this work. You know, if you resist it, trying to get your message out there, trying to get people to notice what you're doing and to make sales, essentially, is going to be more challenging. So, and this is because your messaging isn't resonating with someone. It's not resonating, which means your marketing isn't working, which means you don't make sales, which means you don't have a business. Okay, we're here to make sales. We're here to make money in a business. Businesses make money, yeah? They make impact in lots of different ways, and one of those ways is making money, and so that you can go out there and do, you know, bigger things in the world and support your students in bigger ways. So how does all this relate to your online course? What I see a lot of the time is teachers putting offerings out there and then no one signs up. The reason that no one signs up is because A, the teacher isn't clear on who that offering is for, and B, the messaging isn't clear. Okay, so the audience, if they have one, isn't clear on who that's for. If that's you right now, if these words are kind of landing, you're like, that's me, it's okay, right? It's okay, you weren't to know. Like, if you've been in this community and you've been listening to me for a while, you know, because I talk about this all the time. But if you're new here listening to me today and a penny has just dropped, it's okay. You know, my aim is for you to take a step back in order to move forward. And the truth is, you know, if you're not super clear about who your ideal student is, what your niche is, what your message is, like, why should people work with you? Why should they practice with you? Then what's going to happen is you're going to start to feel like you are hustling around, right? It's going to feel like a game of hustling. And, you know, we want to stop that. We don't want to be hustling, you know, we don't want to be hustling. In the beginning, it feels like a hustle, right? It feels like a hustle because we're doing all the things and we're trying to get everything set up. But we don't want to be hustling in a sense of we're not making any traction anywhere. Like, we're not getting any traction. We're not getting any feedback. We want to be more in alignment with the people that we want to serve. You know, who is our business here for, essentially? We want to get into alignment with that. when we're in alignment, everything starts to flow, because you've got clarity. The problems that you've identified that your ideal student has, you know what they are. Those problems or challenges or desires, like their needs and their wants, that's what's going to form the idea for your online course. So this is hugely related to your online course. Step one really is getting clear. It's getting clear on who you serve so that you have clarity, okay? And so that you know what the problem is that you solve. Businesses solve problems, that's what they do. And your online course that you're going to create in the future is also going to be solving a problem. It's going to be providing a transformation. Like, that is why someone is going to enroll in your online course, because they want the transformation. An online course isn't just a bunch of yoga classes like you're going to find on YouTube. That's not what your online course is. This is you guiding your students, to a desired outcome. In order to do that, you need to decide on who these students are that you want to take on this journey so that your marketing works and so that you can make sales. So staying general is no longer an option. Like, if you really want to have this online course in your business in the future, staying general isn't an option anymore. Resisting niching, resisting doing the work to identify who you're actually serving and how you're serving them and what the problem is that you solve. Resisting that is not an option anymore if you want to have success online, if you want to have an online course that you can create that actually sells, that people actually want, that you've got people there lined up for, okay? And this is where we'll move on to step two, which is growing your community, okay? So let me just see what's going on in the Facebook group. Are we good? Are we good? So step one was defining your community, essentially, and step two is growing your community, because like, now you've defined who your people are and what your message is. Now you can create content that's going to attract those people in. Ask yourself a question now. Are you struggling to create content? Are you running out of content ideas? Are you sharing content and getting no engagement? Is that you right now? If the answer is yes, then ask yourself another question, and it's, have I defined my message and my niche? Have I done that work? Because likely the answer is no. When you've done that step one that we just talked about, content creation is easier, because now you know the problem that you're solving, right? You know the topics that your ideal student is interested in, So most of the time when I see teachers struggling with content, it's actually because they haven't done step one. They haven't done that bit. And that bit is actually the foundation. So your content helps you to grow your community. Content helps you to really attract the right people into your space, and it helps you to engage those people. You don't need a massive following. Like, a lot of the time you might think that in order to be successful you need to have this huge following on Instagram. It's not the case. You do have to have some people there, of course, but they need to be engaged members in your community, okay? So there's a difference between having a large community and having an engaged community. You can definitely make sales when you've got a small but engaged community. And the way that you have an engaged community is you have content that speaks to the right people, right? You're creating content on the topics that your ideal students are actually interested in, rather than creating, very general, I just keep saying general wishy-washy content, because that's what it is. It's general wishy-washy, yoga, just focusing on the benefits of yoga, and that's it. Your efforts, actually, when it comes to this step, is growing your email list, okay? So when I talk about your community, I'm actually talking about your email list. That's where your community sits. That's their home. And so your efforts really need to just be focusing on that, nurturing those relationships, building trust, building engagement. And, of course, you still use social media, okay? You need to be consistent with being visible and with producing, high quality, valuable content so that you can really grow your audience online, right? So when someone's on your email list, they're also going to be following you on social media, very likely. So they're seeing you in different spaces. They're seeing you show up in their inbox. They're seeing you on Instagram, doing lives, doing all of these things. The way you do this in a kind of a streamlined way is to actually repurpose your content. Okay, so you focus on creating one piece of content and then you share it across lots of different channels. And that's the way you do that, so that it doesn't take up all of your week creating content. So content is key, right? Being visible online is key. Working with people in your space, in your niche space. So this isn't, I want to work with a yoga clothing brand. Like, what is it that's aligned about the yoga clothing brand with your brand? There has to be that connection. There has to be that alignment of community, right? So does that brand have the same type of people in their community that you're trying to reach, and vice versa? So all of these things are really important in order to actually get yourself out there, increase your reach, get new eyes on you, and to grow your community, which is step 2. So ultimately, as I said, you're driving people to your email list. And when you do that, you can start to really build relationships. If you do the work in step 1, you know who you're serving, you know the problem you're solving, and then you focus on really growing your email list, you're setting yourself up for success when it comes to your online course. Like, that is really a kind of insider secret. Like, if you really spent time and energy on those 2 things, right? So on those 2 things, and you made those 2 things your focus, you're setting yourself up for success, because step 1 means your marketing is going to start working, your messaging is going to start getting out there. You're going to be able to work with people in your space, because when they come onto your Instagram profile, they're going to see that your content is on that topic, valuable, niche specific content. If they go onto your space, if they go into your digital home, go on your website, they check you out, and they see this very wishy-washy yoga content that every 95% of yoga teachers are sharing, they're not going to see you as an expert on that topic. So why would they go and do an Instagram live with you? Or why would they do some kind of giveaway or some kind of collaboration with you? Why would they, if they don't see you as that? So the more you can get clear on who you're serving and how you're serving those people, like what is the problem that you're solving for them, and you create your content around that, and you really start sharing your content on that, it's going to be much easier to be able to create these collaborations that you need in order to be able to really grow. So really focus on this, and focus on moving people onto your email list so that you've got your community on your email list. You own your email list. You don't own Instagram. You don't own Facebook, TikTok, whichever platform, Threads. You don't own any of those. That is not your space. You own your email list. So, your accounts could close down tomorrow. Then what? Then how do you contact people? Your email list is your most valuable asset in your business. And when it comes to launching an online course, that's where you're going to make the sales. You're going to send out a sales email sequence in your enrollment period, and that's how your sales will come in, through your email list. I promise you. There's a direct correlation between the growth of your email list and the growth of your bank account. You have to be prepared to really do the work on this. And maybe you're starting from scratch with this. Maybe you're starting from 0, or you have a very small email list right now and you're looking to grow it. You can do this very quickly, right? You can do this very quickly. You just have to be prepared to make decisions. So what are those decisions that we need to make? Decision 1, who you're serving. That's the decision that you need to make, first of all. Who am I serving? And I've got something that's going to help you with that today. Decision 1, who you're serving. Decision 2 is on the content that you're creating, right? The content you're creating. I've got some gifts that I'm going to share with you to help you with those decisions, okay? And if you double down on this for like the next few months, you really focus and give your energy to growing your email list to say 200 subscribers, you'd be ready to start working on creating and launching an online course. 200 email subscribers of the right people, right? This isn't just anyone willy-nilly. It's the right people. The way that you get the right people on your email list is you have an opt-in freebie, you have a lead magnet that you've created, which is a piece of valuable content, and you offer that in exchange for someone's email address. Now, if your opt-in freebie, if this piece of valuable content is on the topic that you know your niche is interested in, like it's on the topic to provide some kind of quick win to a problem that they have, then you know that you're getting the right people on your email list. This isn't, right? This isn't a yoga class. Sign up for my yoga class. That's not what it is. They can get that on YouTube. This is a specific, niche specific, valuable lead magnet that is only going to attract the right people on your email list. If you have 200 of the right people on your email list, you will be ready to start working on creating and launching an online course. You can actually do this in a matter of months if you really focus on it. Like if you really focus on getting your content out, setting up the live interviews with people, setting up the interviews, setting up the collaborations with the people in your space, the other experts in your space. They exist. I promise you they exist. They're there, right? They're there, and they also want to do collaborations and get exposure, right? They also want that. It's a win-win. If you focus on doing this and you have some freebies, right, to offer people that are these new eyes that are coming onto you, and you have those freebies there, you're going to start growing your email list with these people. You know, if you do, I mean, there's lots of strategies I could share, and I share them inside our programs, the strategies to actually grow your email list and to boost the growth of your email list and to do it quickly. There's some key things you can do to do it quickly. But if you really focus on that and you make that your focus, you can do this. You'll be ready. You'll be ready to do it. And, you know, of course, creating and launching an online course, that doesn't happen overnight. Yeah, that doesn't happen overnight. But you'd be ready to start doing that. You'd be ready to work on the next steps, you know, on the next set of strategies to create and launch the course. Okay, so today's training, I've shared 2 proactive strategies, 2 proactive steps to prepare yourself. Step 1, I will keep shouting it from the rooftop. Define your niche. Make the decision. Make the decision. I've got something that's going to help you with that today, okay? So if you're like, I don't know how to make the decision, I promise you it's not as difficult as you might be thinking. And go back to what I said a few moments ago. Be the professor in the laboratory, right? Don't be afraid to make wrong decisions. It doesn't matter. You know, it really doesn't matter. Move forward. That's the most important thing. And learn, get the insight by moving forward. You'll only ever get that insight if you take action. You know, staying stuck in your inaction of, I don't know what decision to make. I don't know if it's the right niche. I'm not sure. I mean, we're just staying in this bubble, aren't we, where we don't move forward and we don't progress. We don't get any further forward. We stay stuck. And so we have to be prepared as business owners to do something and then see that it wasn't quite right. But now I have that knowledge and I've gone through the process and I understand the steps now because I did it. But now I've got a better idea. Brilliant. I've got a better idea. And now I actually know how to do it because I've done it once already. Even though it wasn't right, it wasn't the right thing. Now I feel more prepared and confident because I've gone through the process. That is where we want to be, right? That's the mentality that we need in our yoga businesses in order to move forward. Remember, you're here to make an impact in people's lives. You've got to do this, right? I've said this last week on the live last week. We have a duty to do this, right? You know, we can't be here sitting on our yoga mats, just keeping all of this knowledge and these gifts that we have to ourselves or to a small community. There's people out there that really need this right now. And, you know, there's people out there that don't have access to yoga studios on their doorsteps. You know, they are learning online. They want to get support online. Every time someone goes into Google, they're looking for answers, right? Every single time. You have an opportunity to really show up and be there, and to create new connections with people, new relationships with people, and to support those people in your offerings, in your online offerings. Never doubt your gifts, never doubt your knowledge. You have what it takes. You are enough exactly as you are, and you're here, right? You're here and you're learning, which is great. So prepare, right? Prepare is the word, isn't it? You know, the foundations that you put in place is what's going to set you up for success. Like the work you put in now to define your message, to grow your email list, that's what's going to set you up for success. Before you jump into creating an online course, because I did this, I made this mistake. I jumped in because I was so excited. I didn't grow any community. I was just like, yeah, get the first course out there. Made no sales. You know, but if you instead of jumping into it, make sure you're being consistent, you know, in creating this free content, nurturing your community, positioning yourself as an expert in your space. So the two gifts that I have for you, there's a workbook, okay, and this is going to take you through some prompts that will help you to come up with an idea for your online course, okay, based on your knowledge and the needs of your ideal student, okay? So this workbook is going to help you if you haven't defined your niche yet. It's also going to help you if you have defined your niche, because it's going to help you to get clearer on your course idea. Okay, so this is a workbook on how to find your profitable online course idea, but the prompts it's going to take you through, some of those prompts focus on your ideal student. The other gift that I have for you is our AI-powered lead magnet generator. Some of you have had this already. And this AI tool that we've developed here at Digital Yoga Academy is going to help you to come up with some ideas for your freebie, okay? For that opt-in freebie, that free piece of content that you need to create in order to grow your email list, okay? So as I said, this freebie is not a 20-minute morning yoga practice. That's not what it is. It's more valuable than that. And your freebie is not sign up to my newsletter. People don't do that anymore. People's inbox, like think about your inbox. It's like a valuable space, isn't it? You don't give your email out just willy-nilly. We have to make sure that we're creating something that's valuable for people, okay? So this AI tool that you're going to have access to is going to help you with that. It's actually going to come up with 3 ideas. It's going to give each of those ideas a name, and it's going to tell you what it should have in it. But actually, you need to have done the work in workbook 1, or you need to know who you're serving, okay, step 1, before you use this tool, okay, because there's some prompts there, and you need to put information in about your ideal student and the problems that they have that need solving, okay, that you're going to help to solve. So there you have it. You have 2 steps, and then a bonus mini step for you is I really encourage all of you to look at getting some support, getting some VA support, virtual assistant support. And it might just be a couple of hours a week to help you with some of your admin tasks, to help you with some of these content tasks that you're doing, maybe a bit of video editing, maybe a bit of the repurposing. But I really encourage all of you to do this. And it just has to be, you can start with like 2 or 3 hours a week, just to help to relieve a little bit of the pressure. Because as you free up that time, and that might feel like a risk to you, if you think, oh gosh, now I've got to find, budget for that. But actually, start to value your time more. Your time is better spent focusing on growing your email list, creating these freebies, later down the line, working on creating your actual course content, working on your launch strategies. And if you don't start to free up some time now, it's going to be even more challenging to do that in the future, okay, when you really need to be doing it. The admin tasks, which I call them $10 tasks, you can outsource those things. You're better off working on the $100 tasks, the things that are actually going to grow your business and grow your revenue, okay? So something to think about there. If you don't already have anyone supporting you in your business, I really encourage you to do that. So over the next couple of months, we have an immersion coming up at the end of next month. And we also have enrollment for the Profitable Yoga Teacher in October, which I know many of you are eager to get inside, so that you can start creating your online course. So this period right now, this phase that we're in, is really an opportunity for you to explore this, right? For you and your business. I'm going to be sharing lots of content around online courses, and this is your opportunity, your chance to really look at this and to connect with some of the content that I'm sharing. Come and join on these lives, come and join us inside the immersion and really explore it for you. Explore it. Is this something that you want for your business? Okay. And I just want to finish up by really reassuring you that, you know, if it is intriguing you, if it is sparking your interest, if you're ready to move away from just teaching in yoga studios or teaching your own drop-in classes, it's okay if you don't have an online course topic chosen yet, because I'm going to help you to figure that out. It's okay if you don't feel expert enough yet. You know, I'm going to help you to move through the imposter syndrome that you might be feeling. I've got a masterclass coming up on that in a couple of weeks. And it's also okay if you have a small audience. Okay, I'm going to be sharing strategies so that you can grow your audience, grow your community. It's okay if you're feeling all the fear around all of this, you know, taking your business to the next step, moving beyond, you know, Zoom classes, studio classes, drop-in classes. Feeling fear is normal. Staying stuck in fear is a choice. Yeah, let that land. Feeling fear is normal. We all feel it, but staying stuck in it is a choice, okay? So over the weeks, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be showing up with you guys and supporting you with all of this so that you can take that leap from fear to feeling really excited about your business and what you're going to create in the future, okay? That's what I do, and it's what I know. Like, this is my knowledge, and I'm sharing it with you, and I'm really passionate about it. So if you're intrigued by all of this, stay with me, okay, over these coming weeks to learn more. Thank you so much for being here with me. See you guys next week. See you soon. Bye. Take care. Bye bye.